Well, hi everyone. The athletics portion of the 33rd Olympiad has started. Today we saw Ecuador's Brian Pitado and China's Yang Jiyu winning gold medals in the men's and women's 20 km race, respectively. We'll touch more on that later on. But on tonight's live, I really want to go through a number of things. This is an opportunity for our some last minute predictions to get a sense of what's going on, hear your concerns, any kind of things that's happening out there. I really appreciate you for joining me, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe, because we'll be here all the time. So we'll spend some time talking about some of the interesting stuff. We've all been around the world processing Shericka Jackson not participating in the women's 100 meters, and I'm suspecting that many people, maybe not everyone, but many people would have had her somewhere in the mix for a medal. So some realignment needs to go there. We've seen some excitement when it comes to the men's 100 meters. It's building up, a lot of talking points happening there. And obviously, tomorrow, if you're on this side of the world and you'll be waking up extremely early, men's decathlon kicks off. We'll get qualification as well in the women's high jump. Looking forward to that. Obviously, we're thinking about the likes of Yaroslav Manuchik. Men's 1500 meters heats are on course as well. Jakobin Kabritzen, Josh Kerr, all these guys there, and preliminary rounds of 100 meters before we get into the heats. And then for the evening session, a lot of interesting things will happen. I'll be doing a watch along during the evening session, so we'll talk about that. But things like the mixed relays are there, men's shot put qualification, women's 5,000 meters, and the night concludes tomorrow with the final of the men's 10,000 meters, which should really be an interesting stuff to think about. I also want to talk about a couple of things too that may be new to some people if they're not following the sport in detail, in terms of changes that were instituted for this Olympic Games and what World Athletics have been trying to do in a sense to make things probably a bit more exciting. And I think that we should cover that as well. So let me touch on that first before people build up in the live. I know a lot of people will be coming in the live soon. And also thank you for everybody for coming. I know Agro Valley had a comment earlier. We'll get into that. Sim Monster, if I'm getting that right. Oh, not Monster. Sorry, I apologize. Good night. Thank you for joining. My eyes are getting bad. And yeah, I want to say one quick thing about a new thing that you'll see in events from 200 meters onwards. So, for example, if you were to take a look at the heats of, and I could ask my producer to put that up in a second, the heats of the 1500 meters, you'll see, if you click on that, what you'll see is the start list, obviously, and we'll get that up in a second. But you will also see, if you go back up to the results, scroll back up a little bit for me, and you see heats, then you're going to see that repechage round. What that really is this new thing that World Athletics, Sebastian Coe last year, he introduced this, is a certain number of athletes will run your heats and they'll gain automatic qualification to the semifinal rounds. And so in most cases, it might be top 3 finishers. In the longer distances, it might be top 6. It depends on how it's structured. But what will happen is that there will be a subsection of athletes that don't automatically qualify. And instead of just relying immediately, and these are for events 200 meters and above, instead of relying immediately on like a fastest loser or something for qualification, there will be another round of those athletes competing just to get into that semifinal. So this is a new system that has now replaced what we used to call the fastest finishers. Some people used to say the fastest losers. That's not a really good term. And that's the way in which World Athletics thought it would bring some more excitement. So you get an opportunity for a second chance to make it through, and athletes there will have to run again. Clearly, that might have a toll on their body, but this is the Olympics. This is how the future is looking. And if you want to be competitive, you have to to take that with open arms, right? It's probably a better opportunity than going out on a 0.001 versus 0.002, right? That's not the way you might want to get out. All right, so that's a big new feature for this Olympics, and you'll start to see tomorrow. As soon as the qualifications happen in the 1500 meters, then you'll see athletes getting into that repechage round, which will most likely come the day after. So thanks everyone for joining me. Really appreciate you on the live. Get your thoughts in. Looking forward to everybody getting involved. Hi Anthony. We're definitely looking forward to a good conversation as well. Be sure to get your comments in, your thoughts. Imran, what's going on? Do you think Noah will some record? What you mean, break a record? And I don't think any records are going to go in the events that he's participating, at least not the individual events for sure. But good to see you, Imran. Thanks everyone for joining. So I want to, we'll touch on a number of things, do a little preview. Again, as I said, today we had the road race and the 20 km that started stuff, and the guy from Ecuador won in an hour 18:55. A really good performance from him there. And Ecuador normally doesn't really get any medals here, so I think it's the first time since the Atlanta Games that an Ecuadorian got an Olympic gold medal in athletics, and they did it in the same event. I think the guy Perez in '96 did it. The guy from Brazil, Boffin, got silver, and Martinez, who I think is the current world champion, got the bronze. Right, the guy from Italy, who's the defending champion, missed out, finishing somewhat in fourth. That was an interesting race. I don't know if anybody saw parts of. I didn't watch all of the road race, but I saw it. China obviously was really good. The women were really good as usual. Yang dominated the field, and she won in I think 1:25:54. And we had Maria Perez from Spain getting the silver medal, and Montag from Australia securing bronze medal. So those are the first medals being handed out there at the Olympic Games. All right, so I want to move along, and I want to talk a little bit now about the 100 meters, right? We touched on it yesterday on the live, and I want to get back to it in some interesting ways because, hey, the world got what was a confirmed shocker yesterday that Shericka Jackson, one of the big three from Jamaica, the bronze medalist from the Tokyo Olympic Games, it won't be running or contesting the 100 meters. She's had one of those kind of seasons that clearly has injuries for sure. We saw her pull up recently in that final continental tour that she participated in, and she has not run since. She also said in an interview that was the only race that they were expected to participate in. Fine. Now, she's not running the 100 meters. Some people are concerned about whether her chances over 200 meters are going to be strong. Mixed messages, obviously. On one hand, you hear Stephen Francis saying that she's healthy. Another interview, he's saying you got to consult with the medical team. She says she's in good shape, not to expect anything close to a world record. I don't think we would, given the kind of choppy season that Shericka has been having. It's unfortunate. You never want to see that happen. You think she would have a really good prospects of making it on the podium. And so now that she's out now, this is an interesting thing. People are worried about what will happen for Jamaica. Will that mean they won't get anybody on the podium? How are the predictions going? It's an interesting thing. What are your thoughts on it, guys? Do you think Jamaica will still find a way on the podium? A lot of people are talking about that. The likes of Tia Clayton. I had kind of thought about her in my initial preview. It's interesting. I mean, this is going to be an interesting 100 meters. To be honest with you, I had said a couple of days ago that I just felt like the likes of a Julian Alfred would spring a big surprise. The truth is, going into this Olympic Games, Sha'Carri Richardson is the favorite, and she's done enough to ensure that she has the favorite status. Not only that, she's the current world champion, and fastest time in the year. She has the right cycle in terms of age with her, and everything points to her potentially being on top of that podium. I've advocated that Julian Alfred could win the gold medal. In my initial prediction, I was thinking it would be a surprise from her. Notably, why I say that is because, I mean, obviously she's been having a great season as well, running some good times, getting really better over 200 meters as well. Uh, we saw her at the London Diamond League, just being overtaken at the end there by Gabby Thomas. And it suggests to me that Julian should be in great shape. We also know that this is the full season with Coach Flo and not to think about the collegiate scene. I like that. I think preparation is wise. Runs for St. Lucia. There's no national championships that she has to really contest. So she comes here, I believe, primed, not having any serious battle scars that could put her in any problems, fresh, ready for the Olympics. And that's why I feel like she can really step up and potentially win that gold medal. But if we take that outside, we have to say Richardson is the favorite. Probably will win it all. A lot of people are saying that. On my side of the world here in the United States, everybody's saying Sha'Carri will win it. They're all anticipating that. They want to end the Jamaican dominance, which is a very long time. And it's been a long time since the U.S. women have won a gold medal at the Olympic Games. You have to go back all the way to 1996 when Gail Devers became the second woman to go back-to-back at the Olympics over 100 meters behind the great Wyoming Attias. There's no Olympic medal in 2000, so we don't bring that up. And and then ever since 2008, it's been Shelly Fraser Price twice, and then Elaine Thompson here. So it's been a long-standing domination there from Jamaica. And to add the 5 world championships and that Fraser Price would have collected during that period as well, to suggest that it's been a while for them, and a lot rests on Richardson. Lots of talent. We know that a lot. People might talk about her in different ways and so on, but she's there. I want to talk about Tia Clayton as well, because I think she could pop up for a bronze medal. She could do a shock. A lot of people are anticipating, and I don't know if they're really in their hearts thinking this way, or is it because we are in a space where we pretty much want to believe that this is 2008 all over again. So you look at a Tia Clayton, who super talented junior. She and her sister Tina, at some point, both of them could rule the world. And she's gone sub 10.9. That great run in the semifinal at the Jamaica National Championships. Now she's in a good position. Coach Stephen Francis thinks she's much faster. A lot of people are saying that she could do it all. And I don't know. It would be great if that happened for a number of reasons. Not because you might support a particular country, but it would just upend the sport in an interesting way, create a new buzz that someone that you did not anticipate winning, they end up winning the gold medal. I think that's probably one way of thinking about it. I think the word is she's much faster than she was at the Olympics. So it's whether or not she sees the moment, steps up and say, I can do this. Can I find a way to make it on top of this podium, or at least get a medal, because there's an opportunity here. So that's one way of thinking about it. Then we can never discount, and before I get to this great woman, I'll talk a little bit about the other Americans, because we don't want to just sideline the likes of a TT Terry or a Jefferson. I think they themselves would be gearing up. They're under the radar as well. A lot of people aren't really saying anything about that. They're in some circles, people are talking about an American sweep. That's hard. I don't see it. I can't see 3 people being better than Julian Alfred. So for that reason alone, I can't see it. But you go back to the greatest woman we've ever seen over the 100 meters in terms of a career, the longevity. Shelley and Fraser Price. You know, what does this mean for her? She likes to get on medal podiums. She likes to win, obviously. Then she likes to get on medal podiums. All it takes is a couple good races, a pocket rocket start in the final, and she could find her way on that. It's not the season that you would bet your house on that she'll medal because she's run sparingly. It's not the greatest of seasons. She should have run. She pulled out of an event just before the Olympics, so we don't know. It's these are knowns from them, from a big athlete like that, and so we are waiting to see. I will come to a conclusion in a second, but let me get a couple comments here. Uh, I'm not. Imran is saying, do you think China will win the remaining games? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there. Anthony's saying the lady Walker Paris who finished second today is a consistent performer, having won the previous. No, yeah, she's great. I mean, they really really good athlete there. Race walking is an interesting kind of sport. It's I think more people should take it up. Anthony, don't count out Shelley and Fraser. She will be in the mix for a podium finish in the 100 meters. And Akeem, what's going on, Akeem? Akeem says Shelley for gold. A lot of people are saying it. They're really excited about it. I've talked about it. I think I said it yesterday. We've talked ad nauseum about this woman. We can't, but I don't think there's enough words to describe how great she has been. Whatever happens, it doesn't really matter in the sense that Fraser Price has no questions to answer. She's done it all, and she's the elder stateswoman of track and field. She's a superstar, and you would hope she goes out in super style, where she picks up a medal and finds her way or win it all. That would be even ridiculous. If she were to win it, I don't realize what we're saying here, but there's no indication that that can happen right now, right? But you wouldn't put it against her. But the challenge is, I think you might need to be in a 10-6 shape in order to win it. It may not require you to run 10-6, but you might want to be in that kind of shape. And we don't have any indication that Shellyan is in that kind of shape, right? And she ran a 1092. We haven't seen much, right? So I don't know. Smash that like button, guys, if you think Shelley can get on the podium. And so I wouldn't count her out because she's a fighter. She's a fierce fighter. We've seen instances when she was not at her best that she found a way on the podium. We could go back to the Rio Games in 2016. She had a toe injury and she found a way on the podium. She fought a way on the podium. I would also say that bronze medal she picked up at the World Championships last year in Budapest was also a medal that she just went and collected in their faces because she was also struggling from something. And she showed up and she delivered a couple good races and found her way on the medal podium. So there is precedent for it. But we're also talking about a much older Shelley Fraser Price, but a special type of woman to be here and running this long. So, yeah, personally, I would love it. I would love to see her on the podium for sure. I would love to see her win it all because I think it would be just a fabulous storyline to come how many years after 12 years after London to then win it again. That's outrageous. So it's hard it's the first time in a very long time that I can't put her in the mix for it. As much as this is as much I will say that I think she's really primed to take away your dinner if you leave it just in her face. So the question is, you have to make sure you don't have her anywhere close to you, and you don't want her to be on one of those great starts in one kick. Then it's all over for you. I mean, not for everybody probably, but for some. So yeah, I think she whatever she does will be golden. We'll get us chance to see some stuff tomorrow. I'm really excited for that. And I really thank you guys for joining on the live. Don't forget to put your comments in, your whatever you want to say, anything you want me to touch on, what you're most interested in seeing. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with my original thoughts on this the other day when I said I'm going to go with an upset here. And I probably, yeah, I've been thinking about it the last few days. I've gotten some heat for it, but I can take it. Truthfully, I think Shakara should win. But I just have this funny feeling that Julian will do something. So I may go Alfred for the goal, Richardson, Silva, and Tia Clayton for bronze. I don't know. That might be it. But, and I'm not hating on Shakari. So those of you who are saying that, I am not. I just feel like Coach Flo may have something special. He has a really good crop of women there, and I think they may do something, or there may be a breakthrough in the Olympics. And the one thing why I'm not discounting even what Tia Clayton can do is because every time you go to a major championships and Olympics in particular, you get breakthrough stars. You get people who step up and do things that you've never seen before, and they shock the world. So if she wants to go shock the world, I'm all for it. Or anybody in particular, if they want to go shock the world, I'm happy to see it. I really appreciate everybody. That's my thoughts on it. Appreciate you on the live. Thank you for joining me. We have some great videos out, and we, if you haven't seen my video on the track and why I don't think world records will be there, just let me know. Let me know. Let me know. And I would love for you to watch it. Let me get back to some of these comments here. Akeem is saying, I have a feeling about it too. That's why I guess you chose Shelly. Yeah, I just feel like I can't, I feel weird not putting Shelly and Fraser Price on the podium. Hopefully she doesn't see this. And yeah, it's special. I'm getting another comment here. Do you think Tia Clayton is up for the pressure of the Olympics? She has had a similar pressure on the under 20 scene. Do you think it will transition to Paris? Good question. Thank you for asking that. The short answer is that I don't know, but I will try to think through it some interesting ways. Though the Clayton twins in general have been traveling a lot since they're juniors. They're used to winning all the time or sharing back and forth. They've gone on different places. They've gone to the Penn Relays. They've represented Jamaica on a number of occasions. Tia now has also done traveling, been in Europe. She's as best prepared as you would want someone going to their first Olympic Games. That's one way of thinking about it. One of the athletes that I think who was probably really great at just immediately shocking the world, or not shocking the world, that pressure never really fazed her. And I would hope that Tia would probably gain inspiration from a woman like this, would be VCB, Veronica Campbell-Brown. VCB 2000, goes to in Chile World Under 20 World Championships. She wins the double. She's in the Olympic Games. She runs the backstretcher, if I remember correctly, in Australia on that relay. Did she? Yeah. Did she run the backstretcher? Yeah. And she never knew what pressure was. She was like it's like duck in the water, right? Like it's immediately take to things. So I think if she can embrace this moment, it's there for the taking. And if you're reading between the lines of Stephen Francis, what he's saying is that it's up to her. So I think he's probably really happy with her preparation. He's probably happy that they're much ahead of schedule because they're young. The challenge is we're talking about a very young individual. So there's, sometimes when you're young enough, you're good enough. Sometimes as a kid, you just walk through not thinking about it and you just hit it one time. And other times you may have to sometimes learn to fail before you win. It's hard to say. I would hope that it's not the latter and she basically embraces the moment and realizes that there is something up for grabs. And if she runs the race of her life, there is a potential for her to not only get on the podium, but go much faster. So if we take it as true that she is a bit like a 10th of a second faster than she was at the Jamaica National Championships, then we're looking in, is it in 10-7 shape? That could get you on the podium for sure, depending on what happens. So I I don't know if the pressure will be of any kind of a thing there. It's hard. It's almost an individual thing. It requires her to block it out and just do it. But there are fighters though. I mean, it's you've seen that before. So that's what I would say on it. To be honest with you, thank you for joining me. Let me guys, other guys knows. Let everyone should chime in on this. Let me know if you agree or not. Uh, Akeem is saying what who you think will face slash have the most pressure, Noah or Kishane. Interesting. I just drop a video on this like maybe about 30 minutes before the live. A couple weeks ago, I was thinking about this and we were toying around with whether I should have put a video out on this until my producer says, just put it out. Do one. I actually feel the pressure is a little bit more intense on Noah. Only because of the build up around Noah Lyles. Not because he cannot deal with pressure, because he talks a lot and he backs it up most of the time. Almost all the time, he tends to back it up. But if you've been following the coverage in the United States over the last year, ever since he won the World Championships, and that was a fantastic move by him last year to win the 100 meters and, won the double and the 4x1, and he's ready. There's this build up. That's why you see all this intense fighting over should he be including on the 4x4, and there's little bust ups online with Fred and other people talking about even Quincy Wilson. Not Quincy Wilson, Hall, rather, the other day, talking about whether that they should show up or run and do a runoff. Why I think that's the only reason why I think the pressure is there, because there's this thing that Noah will deliver 4 goals. That's what they want, right? Yeah, they want a 1984 for Carl, except Carl delivered 4 in 84, right? Yeah, and that's the build-up they're doing here. I don't think there's any real pressure for Thompson. He could have some kind of nerves, but I don't think there's any pressure. I don't think there's pressure coming out of Jamaica to say you have to be the savior. You must do it. You're the guy since Usain Bolt. I mean, I don't live there, so I don't know, and I don't really think that's happening. You could have some nerves, you could have some anxiety. I think all athletes have that. You want to have a healthy dose of it, the sports psychologist would say. If you just feel super confident and you don't have any jitters, then something might be wrong. The thing that makes me feel like Kishane, and I said it on the video, is the man to beat and why I think he'll win, is that ever since he's been healthy, that run at the Jamaica National Championships is just different class. To go 9 8s rather twice, then you go and you run a 977 in that manner against Oblique Seville, who at that time was supposedly still in splendid shape, who had beaten Noah Lyles earlier. And he looks across to him and he makes it look like child's play. It's the manner of the victory that suggests to me that he's ready. And, as they say, speed kills, and he has a lot of it, and he might be killing a lot of people, proverbially. And so I don't know. I think he's less pressured than Lyles. I don't think he should have any pressure. He should just go out there, have fun, do what he's supposed to do, and he should be fine, And yeah, that's how I think about it. But you guys tell me. I think more pressure is on Lyles. He's much more widely known. Most people don't know Kishane Thompson. They couldn't pick him out in a lineup, and but they may know him by Sunday night. They might know him, right? So that's the difference there. And I think Noah is running a little scared. Yeah, even Marcel Jacobs was talking about it. They asked him about Noah, and he's like, "I don't know about Noah. I'm looking at Kishane, right?" So look, if you watch the race, you just need to watch the race. Not even the time of this is important because the 977s is good because we're living in a different era of when people pop out these super times all the time. And I think if you look at that race, I don't care who you are, you would be concerned because you'd be like, there's a lot more in that tank. And if he can deliver the right way and if he follows instructions, then maybe the black, gold, and green might be waving very high on a warm night in Paris. And you hope it's a warm night. So, yeah, that's my thoughts, and I can get back to it. Son of Jamaica, how are you doing? Do we have any man running in the 200 meters? Yeah, there's Hudson, there's Brian Level. Yeah, those guys will be running for Jamaica. I'm looking forward to what Brian Level can do. Hopefully, he can take on. He looked decent at the Jamaica National Championship, so we'll see. Anthony's saying, I have questions as to the three individuals from the US who finished 1, 2, and 3 at the trial, seeing they're all from the same camp. Is the coaching in the camp above and beyond normal? No, I mean, I don't think so. I think don't. So obviously they're training with Dennis Mitchell, the Green Machine, part of those USA 4x1 relays. I think in '96 he was huffing and puffing, thinking he could win the Olympics on home soil. Dennis is a good coach. I have other issues with. Anyway, I won't say. I mean, people, we know the record of Dennis Mitchell, but he's an interesting sprinter. It was a sprinter from the '90s, part of those Carl Lewis guys, Leroy Burrell, all of those guys. I don't think it's unusual because sometimes when you have a great program, competition, it's important. Elaine was there with Shelley, and there's times when Sharon Simpson, and you could name athletes. So it's not uncommon. Sometimes it doesn't work out in the end. Bobby Kersey has had multiple top athletes at the same time. I don't think it's a thing. I think, and also there's variation on the talent level there. So Shakara is much more talented than Jefferson and TT Terry. And so in a way you can think there's a build-up there in terms of she might be the top she is the top athlete there, and the others may be just working hard to also follow along. Similarly, Alana Reid from Jamaica is there. So I'm not I don't think it's outrageous. You could even go back to the Usain Bolt years when racers were doing really great stuff. Go back to London 2012. It's 1, 2, 3 for Jamaica. Same guys out of the same camp, doing the 200 meters 1, 2, 3. So it can happen. It can happen. There was moments with John Smith had Maurice Green and Atta Bolan, and every now and again John Drummond might sneak his nose in something. These are some interesting things there, so yeah. And Son of Jamaica is also saying in the women 100 meters, it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2 for who? And if you could clarify, are you doing callers unchangeable? If I'm seeing that, good night to everyone, and good night to you as well. Thank you all for joining. Yeah. So don't forget to put your stuff in. Let's get the live going as well as we can. And I don't mind going over other thing. Resilient, what's going on? 100 meter, Kishane, oblique, Jacobs, Blake, Simbini, Tobago, Noah. You think Akeem Blake is going to come fourth in the Olympics? Interesting. That's an interesting one. I think, who was it on the live the other day? Is it a Doreen or Sonny or someone was saying that all of these guys won't make the final the way it's structured? That could be a thing. Initially, I think on my first preview, I had Jamaica going 1, 2, possibly, or Jamaica going 1, 3. I have to see how good a shape Oblique Civil is in. I think this is one of his great years in terms of he was doing well. We saw that he apparently picked up something after the or during the final of the Jamaica National Championships, and there's a photo floating around with the German doctor there that used to work at Bayern Munich before he had the bust up, and Usain Bolt used to see him as well. And you hope that Seville is in great shape. I think Seville was on course as well to potentially do something special. If he's in great form, it could be a 1-2. You never know. I don't know. A lot of people don't. Some people are harsh on Oblique because they feel like he should have been on the medal podium at least at the last two World Championships. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I certainly think he should have been on the podium in Budapest. Probably should have been on the podium too in Eugene. But sometimes, the trajectory is interesting. Semifinals at the Olympics in Tokyo, fourth place at those World Championships. This has to be Oblique Seville's moment. He has to find his way on the podium. I think if he runs the race of his life, he could get a silver medal. Because we are going to assume that if Thompson runs the race of his life, then we'll see a lot of Nike, behind a Nike spikes a lot. That's what you're going to see. But I don't know. We'll see. Bless up to you. I think we shouldn't discount Let's See Tobogo. I like him a lot. I think his first part of the race is decent. Very good. He wasn't lifting enough in London for me. Sometimes he doesn't lift. I don't know if it was a heavy week for him, but he's potentially an athlete that could find a way back on the podium. Obviously, he's done it before. I also think that I've said it on record, were he to forego the 100 meters, which probably is a crazy thing to say, he may stand a better chance of winning the 200 meters because Bednarak and Lyles, the guys who are in contention for the gold medal for 200 meters, are also doing the double. So that's how I would think about it. Yeah. See some familiar faces coming in. Anthony again. Let me get the comments. As usual, don't forget to smash that like button. It's almost 100 of you on the live, only 32 likes. So do me a favor. Anthony's saying, as long as Kishane stays healthy and injury free, you will see that there is much more to come. This youth is so fast that he has a problem shutting down / stopping. Yeah, it looked that way. I mean, looked like he was in overdrive at the Jamaica Championships. I mean, physically, he's tremendous, and the turnover, and he reminds you of those sprinters with the high knees, and it's great. That's the kind of prototype you like to see sometimes. There's a little bit of a Asafa Powell in him. Not as clean a sprinter as Asafa Powell was. I mean, you could write textbooks on how great Asafa was coming out of the blocks and the transition and everything. If we just take away the major championships, he was really sprinting poetry in motion. I think Kishane has some of that. He's very young still, but he has to seize the moment too. This is your time. You come here, you smash that, you put yourself in an elite club, a super elite club, So only Usain Bolt from Jamaica. Obviously, there's been a bunch of men that were born in Jamaica that won the Olympic title. Linford Christie, Donovan Bailey. However, you'll be in a club of two if you were to find your way on top of the podium. So that's how I'm thinking about it. Wayne, what's going on? Wayne Walsh. Kishane is explosive and fast. It's hard to bet against him. Yeah, that's how I'm thinking too. I have him winning the 100 meters, to be honest with you. And unless all things being equal, from what we saw at the Jamaica National Championships, and to do that, those times back to the semi-final 9.8, then go back and run 9.7, opening round 9.8 as well. That suggests that your body is in really tip-top shape to do that. And that's one of the things I want to see from an Oblique Seville too, because he can drop a big time, but it's the ability to execute within that 90-minute kind of period from semi-final to final that will count in terms of winning. And so, yeah, I think he's hard to beat. Yeah. Another comment here. Yes, Kishane seems to be so powerful in the sprint, as if he has much more in the tank. Raw talent. Yeah, he's lots there, and he's been coached by one of the very best. So I think he's fine. Yeah, I think I answered this already. Son of Jamaica. We have Brian Level and Hudson in the 200 meters. Uh, maybe you missed that. Yeah. Anthony saying Noah will get the chocolate medal, fourth in the 200-meter race. LOL. I don't know if you. I don't know if you. I can't see Noah finishing out of the medals in the 200 meters. That's not. I don't know if that can happen. The thing that is interesting for Noah, and I always give the credit to all in the game for this. I haven't seen him on a live for a while either, but is that ever since Noah started to double, he's not run faster than 19.5 in a major championships. Small data point, as I've mentioned. It's just a couple data points to look at the US championships and so on. I don't know. I think if you're sitting it out, I think the guy sitting it out obviously is Aaron Knighton, but we don't know what kind of season he'll have. He was out early, didn't run until the US National Championships after he was cleared to compete by the independent disciplinary panel. There was a return of a adverse analytic finding for Knighton, who then used the defense of the contaminated meat, and that defense worked out for him. It doesn't work out for all athletes, and yeah, so he got out on that. So Aaron could be sitting in the wings. If it was a normal year, he could win it all. I don't know if he'll be in any great shape. We saw him go sub 20 a couple of times now, so we'll see. Anthony's saying, when is the heat of the 100 meters starting? We can put that up on in a second. It's early morning. I think it's around 5ish Eastern Standard Time, 5:50 a.m. There will be preliminary rounds first, so that's why there's no start. We don't know the starting lineup as yet, because the preliminary round is much earlier in the morning, and then they'll go to the heats, and then on Saturday you have semifinals and finals in the evening session. So yeah, so that's the setup. So local, our time, Eastern Standard Time, is 4:05 for things get off with the decathlon, but there is qualification round for women's 100 meters at about 4:35 a.m. And then I think at 5:50 they'll do the heats, and yeah, and then tomorrow, then they'll come back again on Saturday, and that's what will happen. All right. Let me get back to some comments. There's a bunch of them coming in. I'll get to them for sure. Thanks for saying that. Willie, how you doing? Good night, Sports Talk. Did you make your pick for the Olympics? I did. Do a extensive live a couple. Last week we did 2 lives. We did a whole. We did almost every. I think we did every event at the Olympics. I think it's hard to do when we have vibrant lives like this, which I like. But yeah, but I just updated my pick again tonight. I don't even remember what I said, but yeah, yeah. And where are we? Any word on? Speaking of Willie, any word on Stephen Gardner there? Hopefully, he's in good. He's in good stead. Head King, how are you doing? What time the race start? That's tomorrow. I think we just put it up. We can put it up again for you. The heats of the 100 meters is in the morning session for tomorrow. We just highlighted it on the screen, so it's 5:50 a.m. if you're in Eastern Standard Time. I think it's 4 something if you're in Jamaica time, right? Is Jamaica an hour behind? I think, yeah. Resilient was my actual thought for real though. Kishane, Thompson, goal, oblique, Civil, silver. Do Usain suggested knows his coach and oblique has a great chance of medaling high. A bronze would go to Noah Lyles. Yeah, I think it's the moment for oblique. He's a beautiful sprinter in terms of technique as well. There's some elements there that I'm sure Glenn Mills probably doesn't like, but he's done marvelous work with him. And I think apart from the setback, oblique probably should have medaled already at the championships. And I hope this year he comes in feeling good. The word was he's okay. Glenn Mills likes what he's there was a report, when was it, last week or earlier this week? So we'll see. We shall see. But it can work. Mr. McLean tutoring. What do you tutor? Tia will win if she don't false start like champs. Seville will win. Ooh, interesting. Seville will win. Will win. So you have oblique Seville winning the Olympic 100-meter title. Interesting. It could happen, but I don't. I doubt. I doubt that. But it would be. I don't think most people would be mad at that either. That would be interesting time there if that were to happen. Yeah, if that were to happen. Tia winning it all requires a lot, but we know she's very talented. She's well prepared. It's just how she handles it, right? If she handles it well, then I anticipate that Tia Clayton could do something. Were she to do it, then would it be akin to 2008 when the great Shailen Fraser Price announced herself on the scene, right? And many if you remember, a lot of people weren't happy with Shelley at that time. They were saying, "Well, VCB is the world champion, and she should go, and she's too young." That quickly went away, right? So I don't know. Oh yeah, you're welcome, son of Jamaica, resilient. I'm also looking forward to see Nikisha Price. Yeah, I think Price did something recently that I think pretty much dispel any kind of doubts I had, not about her ability, but about whether or not she would be fresh enough to be competitive at the Olympic Games. In general, most collegiate athletes usually have a harder time being fresh and ready when it comes to a major championships. She had a fabulous season there for Arkansas. She had a world-leading time that Sydney McLaughlin Levrone bettered. Then Price kind of relaxed a little bit, came back, and she dropped that big 48, and she retook the fastest time in the world. I like it. In my head, you say, can she win it all? I think when I did my prediction, I had her on the podium for sure. I would love her to win it all. She probably should be the favorite to win it all, but I just have this feeling about the likes of Paulina, who's not gone sub 49 yet, but I think with her experience, she might be able to do it. It's how you manage the rounds as well. You don't want to expend too much energy. You want to save it all for that final. It's interesting kind of space for women's 400 meters in the absence of the great Shaun Mila-Weibo, who unfortunately could not have gotten an opportunity to go 3 in a row. We saw the great Marie-Josée Perec lighting the cauldron, and it was just an amazing experience to see that and remembering our exploits in Barcelona and in Atlanta. But back to this year, because I'm going off too much memories. I would say there's a Rashidat Adeleke I think can do something special as well. I think I touched on that on my preview live. Kazmarek. Women's 400 meters going to be fire. I think it's quite possible you could get 4 to 5 women going sub 49 seconds. I feel like a silver could be for Price if she does it well, but she's special. and I hope she finds a way on. I hope she finds a way on it. I hope she wins it all. I Let me get back to some of these comments here. Anthony's saying Asafa Paul never lived up to his true potential and cost me a lot of money in his racing days. Well, we know. I mean, it's one of those things. He was a super talented guy. I thought he would have won in 2003. Then he got kicked out. Right, he and John Drummond got kicked out. '04, he probably should have won that final in Athens. Couldn't explain that. Justin Gatlin wins that. Francis Aberquele there as well. Mo Green getting the bronze medal. Yeah, didn't win in 2007. That wasn't good either. And then after that, his chances of winning would have been not great because the emergence of the big man. But yeah, he certainly didn't get the medals that he should have gotten. Probably his best race ever was the 2009 run when he got the bronze medal behind the world record from Bolt and Tyson Gay at that time running super fast as well. Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, one of those things. But he was a great servant for Jamaica. So yeah. Anthony is saying, "How you doing? Bless up, brother. The Jamaican athletes are playing it smart. Nobody's running any double each athlete in only one race." It's an interesting perspective. Yeah, it could be like that. But I think if Shericka Jackson was really healthy, had a great season, she would have doubled. Because you can't tell me that if she came into the form similar to last year, that she wouldn't be one of the favorites to win 100 meters and certainly would walk to 100 meters. So outside of that, I do understand what you're saying. It's an Olympic year too. I really hope that Shericka will do really well over the 200 meters. Because it would be unfortunate if she weren't to walk away and not have an Olympic individual goal. I know she still has time. She could go back. She's certainly young enough to go back to Los Angeles, but you don't know what will happen in 4 years. I think if she's capable of running 21.6 or 21.7s there, she could win or should win. I don't know how fast Gabby will go. Gabby's an interesting athlete, a lot of talent too, but sometimes the race strategy is not as best as you want from a Gabby Thomas. But she would probably enter that race thinking that she's odds-on favorite now. Because I suspect a lot of people might look at this withdrawal from Jackson and think it's more than they're leading on. But we don't know. And we'll get an opportunity in the coming days to take a look at it. Swiper the Fox. I'm late. What time is the Paris? And what time is the 100 meters? So yeah, we put it up. We put it back on the screen. The heats of the 100 meters starts at 5:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not sure where you are, but that's when it starts. There's a preliminary round that is about 4:30, so 5. There's not much of an opportunity for those women to get back into the heats, but those, as you know, the Olympics often lets in some athletes from nation states that track and field is not a big sport or they don't have a record of it and they're trying to expand the sport. We see it a little bit in the World Championships as well. And so you'll get a couple of those women who will have to win and get in. Yeah. But yeah, afterwards you can back up and watch the live. I have some other videos going out on as well. Sonia, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome back on the channel as usual. Always here. Appreciate it. Willie Roll. I'm not hearing much about Karani James. Is he well? I think so. He looked good the other day, leading into the games. Karani James, Grenada's favorite. He's Wonder Kid. He's also one of those guys that we have to give special flowers to because the things that he has endured and still competes gives me a little bit of the Shelley and Fraser vibe in terms of the longevity. Not obviously there's a different record there, but Karani James, special talent. When he lost his coach and mentor last year, he's had sickness, illness. he had to overcome all of that, and he's still there. He has all the colors of the medal at the Olympic Games. So he won the Olympics in London, and yeah, he'll go down as one of the all-time greats. Certainly, for him to still be here is a special thing because he runs the 400 meters. It's not the toll that takes on you and the body is just hard, and also for him to still have the motivation to compete all these years still, he deserves a lot of credit. He deserves the praise, and when we no longer have him in the sport, he'll be missed. But his contributions has been immense. Like the video if you like Kirani James. Uh, Thanks for putting that up. Let's see what's going on here. Uh, yeah, thank you for being on the channel. Appreciate it. And let me get back to some of the comments. As you know, I like to get your comments. I'll be back tomorrow morning as well. Well, tomorrow around noon, I'm doing a morning live as well to do a recap of the morning session, and then we'll do a watch along of the evening session. Then we'll do a recap live at night. So 3 times live tomorrow. If things work out. Anthony's saying Price will bring second in the 400 behind Paulina, who will win. That's how I'm having it right now, and I think Adelike might find a way on the podium as well. It's going to be interesting. I don't want to leave out Kazmarek. She's been fabulous too. I just like what's going on here. Resilience saying, I think he's responding to Anthony. You really think so? Then let's see, because I strongly believe Price has what it takes. So we meet up back here after the race deal. No, for sure. I think I would be. I think I should really have Nikisha winning. I don't know why I'm not having her win, except that because I know Paulina has this kind of superior experience there. But all the challenges so far that Price has faced, she's handled them quite easily. So maybe we're wrong on this. Yeah. Let's get Franklin Jones. Is Mboma still around? She is. How are you doing, Franklin? She is still around. Came back this year. I always needed to do some videos on this, but I didn't get around to it. So, as many of you know, Mboma, along with a set of other athletes, based on the World Athletics requirement, needed to do some hormone type therapy. Anyway, she came back. It didn't look good. She ran a race, I think, in Kenya. I think she ran Kipkino Classic this year. Is it this year she did this or last year? My mind is all over the place. But I think she ran a Kipkino Classic and it didn't look good. Or maybe I'm mixing it up. But she came back and yeah, it's not. I don't know. I think the career is not going to be good, especially given what they have introduced. Yeah. Son of Jamaica, to me, Asaf as a quitter when it's under pressure. Yeah, I mean, I think some athletes don't necessarily respond the same way. He was one of those. Neural Peterson, how are you doing? I feel like Sarda Williams would be in the conversation. Yeah, thanks again. I keep forgetting about Sarda. She's very special, though relatively tiny. I think you're saying Price is very special. Yeah, she is. I mean, I'm wondering how much better she can get. Yeah, back to Williams, the Barbadian, the Bayesian there, special, finds a way on the podium. Big time performer if you have to put it in that capacity. So we can never count her out. She could run the race of our life. She did it in Budapest. She did it in Budapest, right? Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's good to is good to say that. Henley, what's going on? Yeah, out the gate, Paulina can't beat Price. Good, uh, good on that. Henley's also saying you guys putting too much on age and experience. It's interesting. You're right because, yeah, I think I'm even contradicting myself because I wasn't thinking it mattered in the Thompson situation. So, yeah, it's gonna be a big race for sure. Yeah. Miss Rayan says people be sleeping on Paulina. Who are those people? Name them, because you can't really sleep. If you sleep on Paulina, then something is wrong with you. I For sure, I don't think she's leaving the Olympics without something around her neck from from the individual race. It could be gold, it could be silver, but she's not walking away without a medal. I can't see that. For whatever Kazmarek can do and Adelike and whoever, it's not there. Sonia is saying price run 48.54. I'm not doubting her. She could even lower the time. You're probably right on that too, for real, Sonia, because the only thing I would say, it's not a ability thing. It was, I'm just nervous at first, and I think she quelled that fear with that big run the other day. The season's super long for her. She's been running all year. So that's the only thing I have. But it doesn't take much. You just need to navigate the rounds. I think she's in great enough shape to just walk through the rounds. If she's and come into that final fresh, leave it all on the track, and she might be walking away with a gold medal. You would think it would deserve that, right? If she could go back to that 48.5 or better, you would think. But I think there's going to be at least 4 to 5 women going sub 49, and I love it. I think that's where the sport needs to be heading, and it's going to be great. Robert is saying Paulina tends to lose her form and runs wild. Price for the goal. Yeah, Paulina has a lot of technical flaws all over the place. It could be one of those race nights too. Not a comment here. Not really. We're just saying price because her performance this year has been tremendous so far. Okay, I think you're talking about, yeah. Can't wait to see. Yeah, Anthony saying Shericka will win the 200-meter race, and make no mistake, Jacko still has her eyes of the world record. Listen carefully to when she said no records, but it's the but for me at the end. I love it, Anthony. I have to see her first, right? I just have to see. I believe if she's healthy, I think an 80% Shericka Jackson could still win the Olympic gold. 80% off the form last year. Could she? Or is that too much? I don't know. 80% could get her on the medal podium for sure. It just depends, right? I can't see. First of all, I can't see a world record, as I said before. I just don't think you'll get the win. I could be wrong. You should watch my video and then tell me if I'm right. We'll post it in the chat. I could be wrong, but I just don't know. I really don't know. Don't forget to like the video, smash it. Constance saying my thing is just wait and see. Yeah, we have to wait and see. I agree with that. Price did not have a long but strategically planned season. Yeah, but she's been in the collegiate circuit all season. They run a lot of those 4x4s. They were all over the place. I'm not doubting. I get what you're saying, but I think there is something interesting there. What's going on? Rich, bless up Sports Talk Tech. I feel many are sleeping on or being a little lazy, not factoring African runners, Curly and Jacobs for podium places. What say you? You're up late there in Great Britain, right? I take it you're in Great Britain. We should never count out the Olympic champion because he's the Olympic champion. You should give respect to him. What's the best this season? 992. We didn't think he would win in Tokyo, so there's that factor. It's like the Andre de Grasse factor as well. I think those gentlemen have a little similarity there. In fairness to Marcel Jacobs, and I should be clear about this, the times where he hasn't really done anything is just because of injury. He won the 60-meter title. He beat Kristen Coleman. When was it? Last year? Was it last year? Yeah. He doesn't really hide. He did try to come and back it up at the World Championships, but he was clearly unhealthy. I don't know. He looked okay in the races I saw. I think I saw 3 or 4 races from him, but nothing super special. Podium might be a stretch. As for Fred Curley, he's an interesting guy, right? Curley, I'm still looking at that New York Diamond League. I'm just watching that whole debacle there when he refused to run in the and at Randall's Island. It just kind of popped back up in my head. And Fred not showing up with his A6 spikes, and the whole thing just looked like a sideshow, and him getting out of the contract, not liking the shoe, and me thinking, did he really plan it that way? And I thought going into the Olympic Championships that Curly would not factor. That's what I thought. I had Coleman going. I think I said he could do something, but I just didn't see anything since he picked up that title to suggest that he could do it. He's interesting, but he ran, I thought, the race of his life to make the U.S. national team, and probably the race to save his career in terms of from a financial position. To get on the medal podium, I think in Paris requires proper execution, especially if you're not Kishane Thompson. I think Thompson could have a slight poor phase of a race, but the speed is there. But everybody else got to execute well. Can Fred put together 2 super races? That's interesting. As for the guys out of the continent, I did the preview last week or whenever we did it. I like what I'm seeing this year from an Akini Sambini, but he doesn't really make the podiums when he should. I like Akini. I like his sprint style from time to time. Ferdinand Omanyala, I don't really know. Tends to run his great races in Kenya. He needs altitude usually. He's run a couple decent races when it's not up in favorable conditions. I just don't know. You can't count them out for sure. But of all the three big Africans, if you want to put it this way, I would say Tobago is the man. I think Tobago could find his way on the podium. He should be in and around the mix if he executes well. Let's see, he's having a great year in terms of some of his accomplishments. He's not a great year for him personally. Losing your mother, it's not. He's a kid. But world best in 300, 44.2 in 400 meters. He of all of them has the best chance for me. That's what I would say. Jonas, what's going on? Do you fancy any of the African sprinters hot to be on the podium or even steal a show? Yeah, I just touched on that. I should have put that up before. Tobago is the best one out of the lot, I would say, who would be capable, and we should not be writing him off. I just don't know if it will work. I just can't see it at this moment. But the great thing about sport is that it will be all on they have to run the races, so we'll see. Robert is saying Fred's confidence is gone. Interesting you would say that. I thought his confidence would have been sky high after making the 100-meter team for the US Championship. Like you could see that raw emotion there that night in Eugene, how he was really there. Fred is a dangerous kind of a runner. You don't want to just line up with Fred Curley. It's like Andre DeGrasse, as I say, but DeGrasse has a better track record than this. Those guys will, you give them a little bit, they'll take it away from you. So you can't necessarily count him out, but I just don't have them right now in the mix. I could see Fred Curley not even making the final if he doesn't execute well. I think you got to be like bam, bam, always doing the right things. And it's not a Fred Curley that's in a 9-7 shape. At least it doesn't look that way. So then your room for error is not as big as it would be if you were in a quicker position. That's how I would think about it. Oh, Bisu, what's going on? If Omaniala doesn't make the final, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, neither would I. I think there's going to be a couple guys in that queue room sweating it. It's not going to be easy. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Another comment here. I would love a surprise from Simbini. Love for Omaniala, but it wouldn't surprise if he medals. I have to be Tobago medaling in the 100 meters and the 200 meters. Yeah, I think I have to. I think Tobago could win the 200 meters. I think I did. I do that as my prediction. I can't even remember now. But I think it could happen. It could happen there. If he sat out 100 meters for sure, I would bet everything on that. Even though I don't bet, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Franklin is saying if Akeem Blake can regain his start, he may very well be an asset on the relay starting. Well, you would hope so. You would hope so. That's where I'm putting him. Some people are nervous about that, but that's where I would put him. Yeah. Yeah. Jonas is saying back in Budapest, Noah didn't win by much. It could have gone anyway. I feel like Tobago has been holding back, or we haven't seen his very best. I'm feeling that way as well, Jonas, because I've been looking at it. I thought that race in London, was it London? He got out really well, but he didn't lift. And I feel there's more in that tank. Yeah. I think Let's has abundance of talent. I believe if anyone could eventually challenge the 200-meter world record, I think he's front and center for it for me. If it's possible, that's what I think. He's really talented. Yeah. Anthony's saying, did you see the boxing match where the trans boxer cut her opponent, causing her to quit due to suspect broken nose? She was eventually disqualified. I didn't. I read the story, but I'm not up on it, to be honest with you. I didn't watch any of the boxing. I did see a little bit of some gymnastics today, and shout out to Simone Biles, the all-time great now, probably all-time great already. This is 2 gold medals for her, individual and also the team gold medal. Yeah, she's one of those big time. She won, and I liked how she pulled out her goat chain, greatest of all time, deservedly so. It's good to see Simone Biles back. If you guys are into some of the other sports as well. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Yeah, so some interesting stuff there. Keep the comments coming. I had a show plan and we were like an hour and changing, and I didn't even get to half of it. I don't plan to stay much longer because I got to get up early so I can watch the Olympics, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff tomorrow to look forward to. I'm really excited for that. We'll get to see Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Josh Kerr. Want to see what he can do there. 10,000 meters, I'm really excited for. So yeah, number of stuff to look for tomorrow. I don't know what that means, Carl, but thank you for joining. Rich is saying, I can, but can you Sports Tech make a case for Noah Lyles being the fastest man in the world? Speak and join your knowledge. Oh, I know what you're talking about here. You're talking about how they're labeling Lyles as the fastest man in the world, and then some people are upset about he's not the fastest man in the world because that belongs to Kishane Thompson and all that stuff. Look, that's an interesting kind of a thing. I don't know what to say. Whenever someone wins the world championship or the Olympic title, the Americans always say he's the fastest man in the world. They've been doing it for years. Lyles is the world champion. If you ask me how to explain all of these things, I would say it this way: Noah Lyles is the world champion, just as Shakara Richardson is the world champion. Shakara Richardson is both the world champion and the fastest woman in the world because she ran 10:71 this season. Noah Lyles is the world champion. Kishane Thompson is the fastest man in the world currently. The Olympic champion is Elaine Thompson Hero and Marcel Lamont Jacobs. I think it's nonsense, this whole discussion around all of these things. Uh, yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, there, then, like, and then people put in thing like the fastest man alive is Usain Bolt, and then people will be like, well, if he were to line up now, he can't run, and it's just like I don't really get it. The world record holder is Bolt, which is interesting. How we label these things is just I actually don't really know, to be honest with you. Yeah. Willie is saying, "What's your thoughts on NASA? She ran that amazing race. Both her and Miller run just above 48. Uh, NASA is back. Her times are trending down. Did talk about her a couple weeks ago. Not that I won't talk about it again, but my mind was. I think I did a live before we had a preview where I was kind of thinking, could she actually find her way as a medal contender? Her times are going down. Hasn't gone. She has to go really low 49 for me to be in the mix. Uh, she's really out of the gate. I like the running style in terms of how she does it. I don't know if the endurance is as at that level, and I'm not quite sure if she can get back to the level she had in Doha. I mean, she was great in London as well, but she was what, like a teenager in London or so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she served a suspension. She's back. You can't count her out, I don't think. But I currently I was toying with the idea of whether or not she would be good enough to challenge. It might be tough to even make the final. However, she has if she's in good form, you never know. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Jonas. I haven't been following it. My man from Brazil here. Uh, no, my Portuguese is bad. All I know is like pão de queijo and something like that. I love Brazil, but I don't know enough. Uh, fastest man in the world is whoever has the world record. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, yeah. Bisa is saying Elaine is also the fastest woman alive and the real world record holder for some. Yeah, real world record holder for me over 100 meters for sure. I keep saying that night in Indianapolis when Flojo ran that time was a hurricane. I don't get it. I don't want to. I'm not taking away the 200 from Flojo. Some people might or want to for other reasons. I can't get into that part. It's an interesting thing. But I just don't think that the 100-meter record is real. It's just not a thing. It was like a serious hurricane. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Elaine, I mean, it's just I hope she can get healthy and we'll see her next year. She's been all sort of discussions recently. I don't know if you guys saw the Atta Bowling thing saying she's done. I don't know. I didn't go quite as far when I was thinking about her a couple months ago when we recognized she wasn't in great shape. I don't know if she's done, but I think it would be hard for her to get anywhere close back to the kind of form that she had before. Only because, she's an athlete that sustained so many injuries, missed out on a number of world championships because of that. And at some point the body can't manage anymore. But I don't know if she's done because last year when she was with Osborne for a little bit, she was trending down in the right direction and she looked decent. I think if they can figure it out, I mean, I don't know. If she if she can get healthy, I think there is another good run in her. Maybe not a double run because that might be too much, but I think there might be a 100-meter run in there to find a way back on a podium. Who knows, to win it all and then just call it a day. It just depends, yeah. Jacoby saying, "How you doing? Can you see you see Shakari break Thompson's record?" Uh no. I don't think the conditions would be even good enough to run 10-5 in Paris. I could be wrong. We'll figure out in a couple of days. Mondo might have other questions about that. The purple track, it might do magic, but I don't know. Stade de France, probably won't have any wind. I can't see it. Can she ever get to that time? Probably. It's possible, but I don't know if he can do it in Paris. We'll see. I don't know what kind of shape Shakari will be in. She'll start favorites for sure, but I don't know. I can't. I don't think she can do the 10:54. Probably, I'm pretty certain she probably can't do that, but I don't know for sure. You gotta remember when Elaine was doing that, she was also doing some 21 fives too. So Elaine probably could have gone much faster that year too. Yeah, that's hard to see. I also don't think she should think about that. Like, that's not a thing to think about. Think about winning the gold medal, then back up your 100 meters from Budapest, then set up yourself for a couple world championships leading into Los Angeles. I don't know. Henley's saying you can't sleep on Nasser. Agreed. Can't do that. Robert, the fastest man argument is all about marketing. I agree with that. It's all over. It's all over the place on that. Yeah, it's just like, oh, when someone crosses the line, that's the fastest man in the world, or like, yeah, it's you're the Olympic champion or the world champion, but I'm okay with it. I think it creates buzz and chatter. Some people get upset about it. And you also have to remember, people like their turf wars on it. They want their people to win. The United States are desperate to take back titles that they haven't had in many years. They haven't won a 100-meter title since 2004 for men. And they haven't won a 100-meter title for women since 1996 with Gail Divas, because 2000 was not a thing. Those titles were vacated. So it's a long time. Long time. Jonas, I encourage people to do their research and get the facts before jumping on Bagua. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for saying it. For the record, another comment. I respect your answer. For me, a reigning world champion, fastest closing 100-meter speed, quickest 200-meter current operator, top relay closer, and 400 capacity of fair shot. Yeah, that's an interesting way of describing Noah. I think he's. Look, Noah Lyles is a special talent. He'll go down as one of the all-time greats. If he sticks around much longer, he'll most likely win a few more 200-meter world championships. He's on course to surpass the big man on titles, but we don't know. Over 200-meter titles, but yeah, in the world championships, not obviously Olympics, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. You understand, if Tia Clayton makes the 100-meter final and gets an explosive start and manage to drive all the way and perfectly time her dip, then she can perhaps be on the podium. It's like that. Is that all the stars have to align? Yeah, special talent. We'll see. Yeah. Oh no, you want to get me in trouble again? Ludlow, Watson, everybody was complaining about all these critiques. How fair is it to say, this is another comment, that Jamaica succeed in athletics despite the JA? Do our top coaches looking after individual interests overly affect our relay team strength through lack of camaraderie? Oh my God. Do we have time for this? Let me answer the last part. Hmm. So, I've said it. Jamaica should have broken the world record over women in Tokyo. They didn't. There's reasons for that too. The relays haven't always been smooth, even with women. Like, I shout out to Shelley and Fraser Price for just running anywhere they say, for not having ego. That always poses a problem when you think about relays. People think individual medals first, rightly so. Sport is an interesting one where, depending on how your contract is written, you got to get on the podium in individual capacity. Not that winning relay medals doesn't count, but some people have different kind of clauses, so it happens. Relay camps matter, even though the US sometimes have relay camps and a lot of them, and they don't always get it right. You don't often get that stuff. The pool also in Jamaica is much smaller than when you think about the United States. So that's why they can go and make some bold moves and put people on a relay that may not finish high enough in 100 meters, right? Or, yeah. So that can be a thing. How much of a thing it is, I don't know. I believe when you are sharp enough, getting the baton around is easy. You see the differences when you have equally good teams. So been few times when Jamaican women have lost the relay when they probably should have won it, but the Americans had better exchanges too. So that can happen. Even when Jamaican men were winning a lot, most of those baton exchanges were really safe because they weren't really needed to do much. Just get it to the big man and get it to him either ahead or slightly behind, and it's all over. So you can be more conservative there. I don't know. Success. I don't think the Jamaica Administrative Athletics Association should be just outright thrown out like that. They've done a lot for the sport. I think they try to do a lot of grassroots stuff, but there's issues too, right? Like, I think somebody need or some bodies need to be accountable for why Nakoya Clunis is not at the Olympics, why she's not able to throw the hammer because someone forgot to do basic stuff. So there's some amateurish things that could happen. I think one of the biggest challenges that's happening right now is just probably problems between the J3As and the Jamaica Olympic Association. Spoken to some people who are in the know, and they just think it's nonsense. So I think if this was a world championships, you wouldn't have any of these kind of setup, any real issues here. I don't think, except obviously for leaving people off, on which the Nigerians are also doing stupid stuff to leaving Favor Feely off, and it's just crazy. I don't know. I think there's professional athletics and also athletics that happens at the intermediate stage and the development stage, where usually associations have bigger stuff there. And when you get to the really top, it's more of a supportive role and making sure things are in place, much more so than what it might mean for interfering with the development of a professional athlete who might be being nurtured by someone who more than capable of doing it. In some cases, those administrative things come through forms of support, which probably isn't happening in the same way you would want, but maybe they don't have the same kind of budget that they definitely don't have the same type of budget that USA Track has or Team GB has, that get, a lot of money that comes from, you can tell me to, from lottery money and all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't want to fully put the blame that way, but there's been some interesting stuff here. Franklin is saying, did I miss anything? Anthony saying, had Elaine stayed with Shaniki Osborne, I think you're saying it would have been better. Yeah, hindsight 2020. I agree too, but there's, it's one of those things. Franklin saw the article recently regarding the dress Olympic 100 meters. They seem to focus on Ben John's. Oh, the dirtiest. Okay. Uh, but not on the rest of the field. Well, this is interesting. Now, you guys want me to go into stuff. Yeah, I'm going to behave myself on the live tonight because, you got to be very careful, at least when you say certain things. I don't want to talk about Carl tonight. I don't know. I mean, Ben, Charlie Francis, all those guys, they admitted it, right? Like Ben, but it's a different culture and some people didn't get stuff. And there's a lot of kind of, we're talking about the 80s and so on. It's different time, right? You had also institutional doping mechanisms. You had the GDR stuff. You had other things going on. Yeah, that's why when you take a serious look at some of the records from yesteryear, you probably have to answer that differently. Let's see. Eric, what's up? Eric P. Kingston 13. The sponsors prefer individual titles. That's true. The athletes have to follow suit. Hence, the relays get neglected. The state should give incentives for the relays to compete with the sponsors. Yeah. Or if not the state, the association. So one of the things, because I know some people might be from Jamaica here or maybe from other countries that their governments plow more money into the sport. But sometimes it's hard to ask nation states to relieve funds to support certain sports when they have to budget for other things. I will say that part of having successful sports is that it's a business, right? So it requires a fundamental push in that direction to earn every dollar from every sponsor, to market your way out, to do things to get money that can then be put back into the development of younger athletes and to help sustain current athletes. That should be independent of government intervention as well. Governments have a role to play. I think if you look at the context of Caribbean nations or other countries, they take great pride in winning these things, and they try to be involved in it and get bonus points. So then they probably should pay up as well, or create better structures for this to happen. Yeah. You want to say Mondo, the Paris 2024 Pro track maker, say this is their fastest track they've ever made, specifically to lead fast times. Do you fancy any sprint world records? Well, we have a video for that. I did make a video. I went there to see the track when it was being laid. Mondo says this is a track that they've improved over the Tokyo track, which was the fastest they said they created then. And new technology, AI, they've worked on the traction control. So athletes drop your spikes in, they don't have to fidget. It just works very smoothly. Energy return is also better than the previous track. All of those things indicate a faster track. Don't really know. I don't know how much faster it is from the Tokyo track. But that alone is not the reason why world records go. You need great conditions too. It depends on what world record you're talking about. The only data point I have is 2003 World Championships in Stade de France. Not a lot of wind. The build of the stadium doesn't look like it creates a lot of breeze to come in. So if you're getting wind readings that are negligible around zero, then it could be a challenge to break world records. Of course, I don't know for sure. I made a video on it, but I could be totally wrong, and I'd be happy to be wrong if world records go left, right, and center because it's exciting. But I can't see it right now. But we'll soon find out. Anthony saying, had Elaine stayed with Shaniki Osborne, she would have been close to her best. Oh, on the comeback trail, she was showing vast improvement for the short time. I agree with that. When Elaine went to her, I thought she was ahead of schedule last year. When he saw her on the last part of the Diamond League, I was like, whoa, Elaine looks like she's going to be fit and ready for this year. And then clearly they couldn't work out the right deal, and then it's all over. Uh, Rich is saying, good reasoning. What's your thoughts on the old, faster loser and forthcoming repage criteria? British athletes seem to benefit from it a lot. I feel it limits athletes' winning mentality. Yeah, I touched on that earlier this evening as I introduced that one of the things that we'll see is that in events on 200 meters and onward, there will be some, they won't have fastest losers or whatever you call it, and they'll have a special race, a kind of second chance for that. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it's okay because I believe as an athlete to lose out by a couple hundred of a seconds could be interesting, but to run an extra race also could be taxing. So I yeah. I want to, yeah, I have to think about that some more. I guess it's like when the Q rooms came in last year at the World Championships. People are like, ah, it's interesting, or in future we're gonna go to full 9 lanes in the track, right? So innovation is always interesting. I always say the time World Athletics are working on doing some of these things, they should adjust the false start criteria from 100 milliseconds to about 80 milliseconds. That seems more reasonable to me. But I don't get to decide. Robert is saying, after the Olympics, I'd like to hear a perspective on the treatment of Ben Johnson. Yeah, we've talked more about Ben. Yeah, at some point. Another comment. Maybe it's me. Maybe times have changed, but I grew up watching relay events, believing that pride in representing your country on the biggest stage was vital. Yeah, I don't. I think people still want to do it. They want to collect those medals, right? You don't want to walk away without it. And for some people, that's the only chance of getting a medal. You can ask the Italian guys outside of Jacobs, right? Some of those guys can barely run and they found a way to win, right? So sometimes Japan come up with a good baton exchange and it's like crazy, right? Yeah. Anthony, the river Seine is dirty and unhealthy for the athletes. Yeah, but the triathlon went ahead. They had to postpone it initially, but it went ahead, Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Rich said, imagine an alien ship comes down to planet Earth. Crazy. You have 3 names to offer up on the GOAT athlete. Who would you pick out of Shelley and Fraser Price, Faith Kipyegon, Miambo, Nifitayam? Well, well, two of those easy. Fraser Price, Kipyegon. Miambo, she's great. I don't know. She has to win. If she wins another gold, we'll see. Uh, Nafitayam, if she wins again, I don't know. I think Jackie Joyner Curse is the goat in uh in the heptathlon though. So I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, it's hard. That would be really hard, to pick. I would come up with some other. If they ask for some goat stuff, I would think about stuff differently too. Yeah. All right. Okay. What else? I think I saw that. Oh, this a swimmer vomited about 10 times today after swimming in it. Ooh, interesting. I didn't see that. Yeah, did not see that. Yeah, it's not, they spend millions of dollars to clean up the Seine. A little rain and, it created problems. But it went ahead though. What's the European standards for E. coli is what, 900 CFUs for every 100 ml over the 50. Then they have to check at 4 spots. So they was good yesterday, so they ended up going. Yeah, it's one of those things. They probably should have created a different thing there. But there's the American athlete who said he was not washing his hands after going to the bathroom in preparation. So I don't know. All right, guys, it's been a long live. I didn't get to cover everything I wanted to, but I don't mind because what I like to do is to obviously have your input. It's after 9 for me right now. I want to get up early to watch the start of the Olympic Games. I'll be back tomorrow to do a quick recap of the morning session. Then we'll do watch along for the evening session. And then we'll probably catch another live in the evening again. You guys stay tuned. Don't forget to check out my new video on the channel. Let me know your thoughts on my video about the world record, and I think some other videos may have been coming out as well. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you know when we go live. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the start of the track and field portion of the Olympics. We'll be talking a lot about it. Bye bye.